Alright guys, I was asked to show you how I make my polyball rigs. So I've got some stuff set up on the table here. I'll change the camera view so you can see what I'm doing down here, and I'll film how I make a pretty simple polyball rig. So what I've got is a size 6.0 hook. This is one of my hooks and that's crimped. I like to cover my crimps with a little bit of silicone, but that's optional. To 80-pound Yuzuri top knot. This is a 0.8 fluorocarbon leader from America. I really like this stuff, but you can use pretty much wherever you want. You can tie knots on it if you want as well. What I've done already is I've got a little micro swivel and I've tied on that some power gum, about 2 foot of power gum. Tied onto that, and you'll see what that's for in a minute. So just get your bit of line with your hook, and then to be able to slide these little stops on, so they're quite slimline stops, but they'll go on anything up to 100-pound mono. The only thing you've got to do is bend over the line slightly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bend the line and bite it so it's quite tight, and then we can pull these on. Like so. So you're going to pull on a stop. Run it down to about 6-7 inches behind the hook. And you're going to put on your swivel, which has got your power gum on it. You're going to slide that down to your stop. And we're going to stick another stop on. Leave a little gap in there to give that swivel a little bit of movement. And I'll show you how I do my crimping very quickly. So it's important to buy a crimp which is the same size as the line, so it's 0.8 line. This is a 0.8 crimp. So crimp on first. Oh, sorry, I forgot my silicone. Silicone on first. Then the crimp. Through the swivel. Back down through the crimp again. And then what I do is I'll just blob the end of the line there like that. That stops the line being pulled through the crimp. And put it down to where you want it. I'll do like a little bit of movement on mine. And then give it a crimp. When you're crimping, you have to remember not to crimp right to the end. You have to leave an ever so slight gap at the end of the crimp. 2 crimps. One at the front, one at the back of the crimp. There you go. Pour your bit of silicone over. And then with your power gum here, grab your bit of power gum, a polyball. Push a needle through the polyball. And then pull the power gum through the polyball like so. And in the end, just ram in a starlight. You can crack that starlight at night if you want. You can pull the starlight out and you can adjust where you want the polyball on the power gum. I'm going to have mine quite close to the top. If that gets caught, the power gun will just pull out of that and it'll be safe. And then what you've also got is where you have the power gun on the polyball rig, you can move it as far or close to the hook as you like. Also, if you'd like to, you could add a rattle here if you want to. I normally have them a couple of inches behind the hook. But that is a nice and simple polyball rig for a lively there. What I tend to do in my own rigs, I don't use polyballs. What I tend to use are sub floats like this. So that's a 10-gram black cat sub float, and you've got a little booby rattle on there, and it works just as well as a polyball rig, if not better, I've actually found. What I have found though is if you nose hook the fish with a subfloat, they do die. I think it's got maybe the way they swim, they can't pull backwards properly, the water through the gills. So I back hook them, so just behind the dorsal with a bait shield. And then that is also another way you can do it. I actually fish like this rather than using the polyballs nowadays.